Hello everyone, and welcome back to another lesson on Microsoft Excel. In this lesson we're going to go over the count function. Now the count function actually comprises of three formulas and three different variants of count function. So let's go over to Microsoft Excel and take a look at this count function. So in Microsoft Excel you can see that I've created this chart over here that we can use to count the number of students. Now the count formula, it actually differs from the sum formula, but it's actually applied the same way. For instance, if I want to count how many students are here, right over here, right? So I created another box over here, number of students, and I have their test scores as well. Alright, so take a look at here. If I want to count the number of students, of how many students I have in my chart, right? So to do that, just go over to this cell and I can just simply give this an equal mark and type in count. And you can see that there are a lot of variants here of count. So I'm just gonna go over three, but the main one is the count function. So after doing that, I'm just gonna give in a bracket or a opening parenthesis, and then I'm going to select this row over here. After doing that, I'm just gonna give the close parenthesis, and if I press enter, now you can see that the value is just 0. Now you might be wondering why the 0 value. Now the reason why this is the count function, it only counts numbers, and we only applied cells that are comprised of text, right? That's why the value is 0. Now take a look over here. If I go back and if I apply, let's say if I delete this variant from here, and if I apply this test scores only, now if I press enter, you can see it comes up with a value of 10. That's because it has numbers in its cells, right? So that is how the count function functions. Now how are we going to apply these cells over here, these cells that comprise of text? Now there's another formula for it. Now this is a count variant. For instance, if I double click on it and if I add, let's say, count A, and now if I give an enter, you can see that the variants are, if I just go over, I didn't change the values, count A, I need to change the values from over here as well. So I'm just gonna give in this values, press enter. You can see that even though I added the values with the text, the value also comes up with 10. Alright, so that is the function of count A. Now there is another function of the count that you might need to know about. For instance, if I delete Jane Jackson from over here, alright, so for instance, if I just go over and delete Jane Jackson, and now if I add in, you can see that the count, the value, it changes from 10 to 9 automatically. That's because I added the values of these cells, and these cells are locked up here in the formula right over here. So if I make any changes in these cells, they will be changed here as well, right? The value, the total value would be changed here as well. So how do we fix that, how many blanks we have in one category? So to do that, I'm just gonna go over and change the value. All right, so first we're gonna change the formula. So the formula for this particular function is count blank. Now if you take a look over here in our screen tips or our contextual menu that appeared in number 3, we have the count blank. So I'm just gonna click on count blank, double click on it. We don't need to change the ranges. We're just gonna click on enter, and you can see the value is only 1. That is because there is only one blank function over here, right? So that's why it's showing blank or one blank. Okay, so number of students, blank. So now you can see that how this works, how these count formulas work. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm just going to press on Ctrl Z, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna just bring back our Jane Jackson back into the fold. All right, so that is the count function. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you learned this function, and please practice it at home as well. In our next lesson, we're going to learn about another function as well. All right, so with this, I'm going to end this lesson over here.